Ron Silk, a Whelen Modified Tour champion once again. His second title, 12 years after he won his first in 2011. He edged out three-time series champion Justin Bonsignore, who put up a good fight. You see him up there, ultimately finishing second, but it was not enough to overtake Silk in the points. Ryan Preece, meanwhile, let's give a shout-out to him. He returned to his modified roots, and it looked like he never left. He took the win, the 2013 champion's first victory in a series since 2021. So, Brandon, Corey LaJoie won this race last year. Now, Preece wins it this year. Preece also won an ARCA West race at Sonoma earlier this season. Can wins in races like this, even though it's not one of the three national touring divisions, can this still be something that gives them a confidence boost, particularly for Preece after the difficult season that he's had in the Cup Series this year?
I think it can give you, as someone who's not a racer, we preface that with every answer we give on the show, but I think it can help you with racecraft as far as situations in the cockpit. But as far as being a Cup regular, I don't think there's any comparison whatsoever between a Whelen Modified Tour machine and the NASCAR Cup Series. It's just not even close anymore. Maybe the tire width might be a similarity with the increased width they have on the tires for the Cup cars, but I don't think there's any correlation we can make at all anymore. Maybe that you probably could have made 20 years ago, but I do think it can certainly bring him confidence and momentum to whatever he's doing. Glad he's signed back with Stewart-Haas. They definitely need another year to figure things out, and it'll just be interesting to see what goes on there in 2024 and what happens all around there with Preece.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Silk and Bonsignore a little bit here. Let's talk about Preece as well, because Preece is a champion of a series as well as, like I was mentioning, Silk and Bonsignore won two of a championship this year. But think about drivers like Richie Evans and Mike Stefanik. They're in the Hall of Fame for NASCAR, deservedly so. Brandon, you look at today's modified champions. Do you think they deserve a little bit more recognition for their accomplishments?
Certainly, yeah. They're out there doing the same type of hard-nosed driving that you saw from Richie Evans and Mike Stefanik back in the day. And I certainly think Bonsignore and Silk are names you could certainly see in the Hall of Fame in some future class down the road. We talk about when we have the pair race on these kind of weekends, we like to bring up the fact that the Whelen Modified Tour needs some more exposure. It could certainly be on a more regular, or maybe a little more easily accessed avenue, and it'd be nice to have live sometimes too. That would be the most important part, I think.
Yeah, we need the Flow Racing subscription to catch it live. You can catch a replay there, or I believe it's 11 a.m. on CNBC, Sunday, November 5th, the same day as the Cup Series Championship 4 finale. You can catch a condensed replay on the Literal Consumer News and Business Channel. That's where you get your Whelen Modified Tour action on TV these days via NBC Sports.
That just doesn't fly for me.
Yeah,
but
I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah, well, and I mean, Ryan Preece in particular, I want to spend a couple minutes talking about him here. I went back and I watched the finish of the race before we came on the show tonight. I didn't realize that was his 26th win, they said, in Whelen Modified Tour competition. And, I know Ryan Preece has not had that same level of success in the Cup Series. I know he's been, criticized along with, his Stewart-Haas teammates this year with a dreadful season that, there's really no way around it that they've had on the Cup Series side of things. But, I think a lot of times we're so quick to look at drivers who underperform at the Cup Series level or just, maybe don't find themselves in the right situation. And, people get on to Twitter or get on their cell phones and just, start typing away the keyboard warriors, for lack of better terms, and call them talentless hacks and say they have no business being in the sport or whatever. But, I think a lot of times we're too quick to do that, and we forget, sometimes drivers just need the right opportunity and to be in the right place at the right time. And Ryan Preece, he's gotten his Cup opportunities and Xfinity opportunities because of his great success here in the Modified Series. And Ryan Preece is a NASCAR champion. That is objective fact. He is a NASCAR champion, and I think he deserves some credit for that, and it's a testament to the talent that he has, and unfortunately just hasn't quite been able to capture that same level of magic in the Cup Series. I'm hopeful that Stewart-Haas Racing can rebound a little bit next year, and he can show what he's capable of, because he's won a couple times in Xfinity. We got that truck win as well with David Gilliland Racing, and has kind of bounced around all three series. Now seems to finally have a nice home here with Stewart-Haas, and continues to come out at least a couple times a year and return to his roots. And I think that's impressive as well. Like you were mentioning, Brandon, there's very little correlation between a Cup Series next gen car and a Whelen Modified Tour car. And yet here Ryan Preece comes in and looks like he never left. And it's why, I always, as much as I don't like seeing it in Xfinity and trucks, I tip my hat to Kyle Busch, because there's not as much overlap between that truck and the next gen Cup car. And yet every time he jumps in, it looks like he's a series regular who does this on a weekly basis. And seems like as often as not, at least, he goes out and wins the race. And Ryan Preece did just that this weekend. All credit to him. Justin Bonsignore as well. I know he's got to be feeling a little bit down, missing out on another championship. But to your point as well, Brandon, I think, that's a name that, maybe 10 to 20 years down the road, we might be seeing that name on the NASCAR Hall of Fame ballot. I think Ted Christopher deserves a little bit more recognition. God rest his soul. I really would love to see him in the Hall of Fame one day. I think what he's meant to the Modified Tour Series, a champion of that series as well, he deserves some recognition. Mike Stefanik, I think, was long overdue. It's a shame that he didn't get to give his own speech going into the Hall of Fame. Richie Evans, I think, was really the first one that proved it's not the Cup Hall of Fame, it's the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and he certainly is a deserving Hall of Famer as well. So great Modified Tour action this weekend at Martinsville. And like you said, Brandon, hopefully we can get a little bit stronger coverage for this series, because I really enjoy talking about it. And every time, it's great to see, big races like this. Look at who finished in 10th. You want to talk about the Hall of Fame? Bobby Labonte down there. Ryan Newman coming back.
Next to him, yeah.
Staying active in this series. I know he loves racing the Modifieds. Joey Coulter, that's a name I feel like we haven't seen in a while. And, flashbacks to the Truck Series days a little bit. This is a great series. There's a lot of great competitors here, and I think that this is something that deserves a lot more spotlight and attention, and hopefully we can do a better job here, even on Grid Live Encore, giving it to this series in 2024 and beyond.